Back to the gridiron we go, where there are two very interesting matchups this weekend. The early Rookie of the Year favorite is taking on last year's MVP on Sunday when the Commanders face the Ravens. And, of course, the Cowboys are looking to defend home turf when they take on, wow, they hate the Cowboys out here, a Lions team coming off of their bye. All right, Cam, I'm going to ask you this one. Do the Cowboys or the Ravens need to win more this weekend?
Cowboys. Cowboys, but not for any other reason. When I look at the NFC East standings, the Commanders are number one. When I look at the AFC North standings, the Ravens are number one. Their competition is really the Steelers, right? When I look at the NFC East, the Cowboys have the Commanders to contend with. The Eagles, they still ain't crunk up yet, and the Giants ain't as bad as people making it out to be. Like, they're really in a very competitive division. They don't have time to fool around and not collect as many wins early on in the season as possible.
Especially losing another home game.
Yeah.
Cowboys can't lose another home game, Stephen A.
Right.
It's something that we always say, protect home field, protect this house. They would be 0-3. All the games they would have, well, a lot of the games they would have lost would have been at home. You can't, all of them that they would have lost would have been at home. I think the Ravens, look, I still think the Bengals are going to right that ship. I don't have a whole lot of confidence in the Steelers' offense, regardless of who the quarterback is. I think they have an outstanding defense. Yep. Their defense is lights out. Cleveland, we've moved on past Cleveland. I think we can all concede.
For real?
Yeah, we moved
Come
on.
on, Cam. Come on, Cam. You can't even ask that question.
I just asked a simple question.
I'm just saying.
I just came here to debate.
But the Cowboys need this in the worst way, and they need to do it convincingly, because I think the thing is the Lions, as Cam mentioned earlier, we know who the Lions are. They're going to run the football with that two-headed monster. They're going to play action off of that, and can you stop it? Can you stop Montgomery? Can you stop Gibbs? And if you can't, the Cowboys can't win.
I agree with y'all, but for a different reason. Win or lose, Baltimore's going to be Baltimore. They're going to be up and down. They're going to make it a little bit more interesting than it needs to be. They're going to get the heroics from a Derrick Henry or Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers and others. We get all of that. The Dallas Cowboys might nosedive. A loss might help them plummet. I don't like how they react to pressure. I don't like how they react to being under that spotlight to a degree where everything is up against them or what have you. You look at Dak Prescott, of course he's going to go out there, he's going to fling that football, he's got no choice. CeeDee Lamb, that's your number one option. You don't really have much of an option after that. Your defense ain't giving you any kind of reprieve whatsoever. I'm not going by the last 2 weeks, that's fool's gold. The Giants, yeah, they better than what some people thought, but they still ain't that damn good. We know this. Daniel Jones is their quarterback. You look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, you can't decide who the hell your quarterback is. Najee Harris suddenly couldn't run the football effectively enough, all right? George Pickens is your one receiver that you get to rely upon. People wondering whether or not the Steelers should try to get Devontae Adams or somebody like that because they need help, okay? So you look at the Steelers, and they're somewhat limited offensively. Nothing to write home about, nothing to brag home about offensively. That's who the Dallas Cowboys beat. And so when you got a game like this, and you go out there and you get your butt whipped, I think that has the potential to force Dallas to plummet, and I think that's what you got to be worried about with this. Baltimore's going to be Baltimore. Win or lose, they'll be all right. Dallas, they could fall apart.
I'm going to tell you like this, Shay. You said something, it better be in convincing fashion. It's no such thing in the NFL. I don't care if we win by half a point. It's mandatory that the Dallas Cowboys find a way to win this week. And it's no, oh, that was an ugly win. I've never heard somebody say it was a beautiful loss either.
When I look at it, Cam, I don't think they can win a close game against a good team. That's the problem. That's why they need for their psyche, because we saw them beat Pittsburgh. Yep. Do we think Pittsburgh going to really make the playoffs?
Yes, I do. I really do. Because when I look at Pittsburgh's dynamic, it's almost like a young, up-and-coming, what we know Detroit Lions to be. Control the run game, lean heavily on our defense, allow our defense to hunt, very opportunistic guys that's on the edge or whatever. And Justin Fields is getting his confidence. You see what I'm saying? Like, Najee Harris is also a real threat here. George Pickens is a dog. So for the Pittsburgh Steelers not to be at least considered, yes, I do think they can make the playoffs.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
There's been discussions as to whether or not the Steelers should insert Russell Wilson as a quarterback to give him a try, see what he looks like. How do you feel about the potential change at the quarterback position for the Pittsburgh Steelers at this moment?
Man, honestly, use Russell Wilson as trade value. And the fact that the Miami Dolphins haven't reached out to Pittsburgh is beyond me, especially with that specific situation. At this particular point in time, I think we've seen enough in Pittsburgh to really crown Justin Fields, and they've said it without really saying it. You know, the whole morale of the team, the guys are fighting for him. They're playing for him. And I don't know, it's probably in too deep for Russell Wilson at the end of the day, but
See, I haven't felt that way, Shannon, and here's the reason why. Justin Fields, coming into this season, nobody had been sacked more over the last 2 years other than Russell Wilson than Justin Fields. 99 times he had been sacked, okay? We know he was turning the football over, all of this stuff. That hasn't been the case this year. Hasn't been turning the football over. His completion percentages have been upped, okay? So he's off to his best 5-game starts. But in the same breath, when you look at the Steelers and where their offense ranked, 26, 27, 28, when you talk about points, when you talk about passing efficiency, stuff like that, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, I can't even take a look at what Russell Wilson could look like.
It's the winning formula. You have to understand this about quarterbacks in this league. Everybody is not going to beat you with efficiency. They've realized we're going to have a lot of success leaning heavily on Najee Harrison, playing off of Najee Harrison. When I seen Pittsburgh Steelers play Atlanta Falcons, which Atlanta is now becoming a real,
okay, you're fair. That's
right?
fair. That's fair.
They have some quality wins. And how they're winning, they've won close games with good teams up until this point. All I'm saying is if we could keep Justin Fields at that realm of, okay, he's in control. We're not expecting him to drop back 15, 20 times alone. We want to keep him on the edge so he can obviously use his skill set and with his legs too. Staying ahead of the sticks with 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2s, not 1st and 15, 3rd and 12s. That's not that formula for him.
And consistently win like that. Because here's the one person that you can't hide is your quarterback. I can hide every other player on the field because I can slide the line. When I'm going to make him, I am not going to allow you to run the football. And that's what the Dallas Cowboys did, and that's what the team did the week before. I am not going to allow you to run the football. And if Justin Fields can throw the ball for 250 to 300 yards and beat me, I'm going to walk to the middle of the field and say, good job, son. Stay healthy. I wish you the best along the way. I don't believe he can consistently do it.
But understand this. His formula is not what you're asking a Matthew Stafford, a Drew Brees, a Tom Brady to do.
But I'm saying you're not asking him to do it because you know in your heart you don't believe he can.
No, I'm saying let's look at the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff.
Okay.
Yeah, right? They know what they want to do. They're going to do it. Stop it. We're not asking him to say, okay, Justin, you're going to have to drop back and throw the ball. No, let's do what we do. And do it at a high level.
But we've seen Jared Goff go head-to-head with some guys and out-duel them.
You have to start there, for sure. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, as far as Justin Fields being the guy, the real guy, versus Russell Wilson, I think it's Justin Fields, right? You build off of that.
Well, I'm not arguing
and they have the pedigree to go to the playoffs and be a real.
But what I'm saying, I'm asking you this, Shannon. My point is, I can understand Cam and anybody else saying, Justin Fields is your starting quarterback. Steelers have a winning record with him, blah, blah, blah. My point is, have you seen enough from him to literally and definitively justify saying, we don't need to see anything from Russell Wilson? That's where I run away from it. I'm like, you can't even show me what he's never played in the Steelers uniform yet because they were talking about he was going to be a starter, and then he had the calf injury, and then obviously Justin Fields started off the season. I can't at least see.
It's certain things that you cannot do in the locker room.
Okay.
And they understand. What do you tell your team? We're sitting at number 2 right now.
All right.
Right?
What can't you tell your team in the locker room?
You don't want to mess up the cohesion. You don't want to mess up the continuity. If you go out and win, ain't nobody gonna say nothing.
Okay.
If you lose with Russell Wilson as your starter quarterback, those guys in the locker room gonna say, man, why are we even doing this? We were straight with Justin. So that's the situation. Justin hasn't lost the job. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And if he has not lost the job, then you can't even explore.
Having played on a team like that where you have to play mistake-free football,
right.
You play to your defense, and then you throw the ball when you absolutely have to. Cam, it's hard to play football like that week in and week out.
Understood.
It is hard, man. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
But let's not forget, that has also been the Baltimore Ravens formula.
Yes.
They play bully ball.
And
that's the whole AFC.
but
North.
And then what,
Effectively, not like
what
before.
happens when they get to the playoffs and they won't let you run it?
It's
What happens then?
It's the turnovers. It's more than just that.
Because
It's more than just that.
Because
it's not because you need to throw the football.
I'm not going to let you beat me with your strength. If you beat me with your weakness, I can live with it. What does Coach Belichick do? If you beat Coach Belichick, you're not going to beat him with what you do well.
They're going to take that away.
Yeah.
William Belichick has I'll be damned. A lot of that in him. So
That's right.
That's the truth.
That's all I'm saying. I'm looking at it and I'm like, listen, Justin Fields, I've been very impressed with him cutting down on those turnovers, running the offense. I get it. Mistake-free football, making plays with his legs. We ain't see that for years with Big Ben as his years waned and all of this stuff. It's really good to see. But I'm not seeing enough from him for me to say, I don't need to see anybody else in a Steelers uniform at the quarterback position. Russell Wilson, sit down. Let's try to trade you. I'm like, wait a minute. Can I at least see what the brother can do? He might be able to do. 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions last year.
Actions.
We might. I'm just saying.